we're going to go through two books in the collection that I super enjoy. One is The Art of Tangled. Do we have any Tangled fans? Rapunzel, Pascal, any of that stuff, right? So The Art of Tangled is pretty awesome. Glenn Keane did a lot of work in here. They have some more. I'll show you some cool character sketches. So the art of this book is amazing. So you've got all kinds of character sketches, and I love this kind of stuff. So Rapunzel and her hair, right? And how Glenn Keane would would animate her hair and explain to the guys who were doing it by computer how it was supposed to be like a character, right? So here's some really awesome, kind of like what we did last week. So some different facial expressions and reactions from Rapunzel, right? Body language poses, stuff we're doing today. So if you get a chance, you might check out your local library and online library to check out The Art of Tangled. Super cool. And then one film that I geeked out hardcore on when I was 16, some of you were not even remotely born yet, is The Art of the Lion King. Ooh, this is a huge book. I got it used, so it's a little banged up, but I don't know how many of you, like, I'm not a fan of the new Lion King, but I do love the original Lion King. And like, this thing is chocked full of wicked sketches, right? Backgrounds, all that other kind of stuff. Production work from the film. Let's see if I can find some. Ooh, this is one of my favorite scenes. So if you look at the concept artwork, right, for when Mufasa when he sees his father in the clouds. Let's see if I can. There you go. Pretty awesome. So this guy who designed this, Chris Sanders, is the same stuff I showed you from the Croods, right? So Chris Sanders did a lot of artwork in The Art of the Lion King. And then art supplies. So I got a new order of some art supplies in that I've needed. And I was going to share with you guys what I like to use when I sketch. So part of what I can't pronounce this, Scott would know because he's more educated than I am. These are, what is this? Karen D. Ach. I don't know how you say that.
I don't know.
I don't either. When I called up Blick, they didn't know either. So this is a non-photo blue pencil, right? So you could use a blue colored pencil, which would work equally as well. But I like these a lot. So it's a non-photo blue pencil. And I do a lot of my sketching with that, my underdrawings, right? And then that's what I'll do my inking or my pencil work on top of that. So I love these. They come in a 2-pack. And then I love sketchbooks. Sketchbooks are gorgeous. I have a Moleskine sketchbook, right? I like Moleskine. Moleskines are, I love the paper. I just love the whole feel of it. You can't really feel the paper, but it's quite delicious. So I got some new sketchbooks today, and I recommend the non-photo blue pencil, and then just a wider format sketchbook. This is an 11 by 14. Basically dry media, so not markers and stuff like that. All right, so let's get into some body language with Daffy Duck. As we jump around today, we're going to go through some gesture drawing. And for gesture drawing, I am going to use an all-time favorite. So last week was Tron, right? Tron's cool. Let's go back into that kind of tech space world. And we're gonna roll a Buzz Lightyear, right? This is my Buzz Lightyear. This is not my kids, because I have lots of toys as well. All right, so we're gonna roll Buzz Lightyear as our model for what we do. And here's what I like about this. It's a little bit more complex, right? So this isn't just like in our Tron model, we had kind of a general face, a general body shape. Here, you can see where you can exaggerate. You got, your torso, you've got waist, you've got legs, knees, feet, you've got biceps, you've got, Scott, help me out. Well, I can't remember this is not a tricep. That's the back of this muscle. Your forearm, hands, right, elbows, and then your head. So I'm going to open up his thing. I'm terrible right now with my muscle memory names. So we're going to with Buzz Lightyear in some gesture drawing. Same rules apply. 60 seconds. He's going to strike a pose, right? And then we're going to sketch it. What I like about this is it's a humanoid figure. I like this better than I like, in some cases, just the wooden models, but this is going to work. So we're going to go super close. All right. I'm going to bring the camera down.
Bring the camera down a little.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So Buzz is signaling a left-hand turn. On your mark, get set, wings out. On your mark, get set, go. Standard pose, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward, right? He's not doing anything too wacky, but look at the bend. Look at how far his arm comes out. Look at where his wrist is in comparison to the top of his head. Get your quick shapes down first. So you'd have like an oval, kind of like a oval here, pop in where your knees are. So we're just gesturing real quick. The incomparable Buzz Lightyear. Scott, could you make a phone call and have John Lasseter crash this class today? Could you do that? Because the Rock he's coming. We're gonna get him. But like, if we can be like, hey, the Rock, guess what? John Lasseter was on. The inventor and creator of Sir Buzz Lightyear. All right, we're gonna give it another 30 seconds. So the whole idea is to get quick movements down. All right, 14, 13, 12, 11. And 5 seconds. Getting down those, you can always fill in more detail after you got the major stuff done. All right, there we go.
There's a question about, should we draw detail?
If you have time, yes. So what I'll do when I'm gesturing is I'll get my main movements down, and if I have time to go back afterwards, or if I have time within, like if they're just kind of sitting there, I'll go ahead and I'll add more detail to it. You get as much in as you can. All right, so we're gonna go wings in. Let's hope this works. My kids have played with this far too many times. All right. So he's kind of in a walking. Let's see if we can get this down. So when you're walking, right, you kind of have your back leg, whichever leg is kicking back, that arm on the other side is typically all right. On your mark, we're going to angle him a little bit. On your mark, get set, go. So like a leisurely stroll on Planet Pizza. Do you know that the Pizza Planet truck is in every single Pixar movie? Except for Brave. I didn't see it in Brave. It could be in Brave, but I'm not sure. I like all their Easter eggs. Was it in Brave? All right, Liliana and Heather Rose say it was in Brave. I believe you. It was, oh, it's in the witch's shop. I'm going to have to look for that. All right. About 20 seconds. Gesturing quickly. Hope everybody's had a good week so far. 3, 2, 1. All right. So there's that.
Soren has his hand raised.
Yes, sir.
What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do?
So I want you to draw. When I put Buzz Lightyear up here, I want you to draw what you see quickly here, right? So I want you to get as much down as you can for Buzz Lightyear. All right. He's about to take a flying leap off the cliff. On your mark, get set, go. So in this pose, right, look at how big the foot looks in comparison to hands, even his face, right? So all that perspective. So in gesturing, when we're getting kind of movement down, we're taking in what we can in perspective. So part of this pose is taking a look at perspective, seeing how big the object closest to you is. He's got one wing out because we're malfunctioning. I don't know how he's going to land. He's taking the flying leap with one wing. Did you know that Toy Story almost didn't ever get made? It's a really good documentary called The Pixar Story. And I will tell you a very short story about how it almost got canned. And Toy Story 2 for that matter. All right, pose done. So all I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to focus on his face. So all I want you to do here, and I'm going to move this up a little bit. You're going to gesture very quickly that pose. Okay, on your mark, get set, go. All right, so Toy Story, when John Lasseter and his team were going to, they pitched it to Disney, and they went in, and Jeffrey Katzenberg at the time, who was at Disney Studios, wanted a more edgy film, and so he kept kind of meddling with it, and it was a very edgy film. And Woody, the character Woody, was kind of he was not very nice. So they figured in this, the film really wasn't working, and they weren't sure how it was going to go, and the characters didn't gel. So they went back and they said, you know, you're going to have to lay off your crew and everything, and I don't think we're going to go forward. And John Lasseter and his team convinced Disney to give them a couple weeks to redo the film, do it like they wanted to do, and then pitch that film. And so in 3 weeks, they rewrote the film. They did it like they wanted to do. They pitched it to Disney, and it was the biggest animated hit after that, and birthed Pixar's legacy. All right. Next, we're going for the back. Let's see if I can, there's my wings. All right. He's got his hands on his head. We can see him from the back. We're just doing kind of like waist and up. On your mark, get set, go. So in Toy Story 2, so John Lasseter does Toy Story, it's a big success. He gets into A Bug's Life, and A Bug's Life, they got all kinds of stuff they go through there. A Bug's Life does really good. And they were going to release Toy Story 2 direct to video. And Disney decided to release it less than a year. They decided to release it theatrically. So they're going to release it in the theaters. And Pixar was struggling with it, and John was supposed to take some time off. And so they bring him back in, and they're like, hey, this isn't working. We have to release it in 9 months. And the core team of Pixar comes in, they take a look at the film. They're like, yeah, it's not working. They only have 9 months. Typically you've got like 3 to 4 years to work on a film. So they rewrote the film and in a weekend, repitched it, and then did the entire thing in 9 months. And it was even a bigger success than Toy Story 1, which just goes to show you creativity, right? The challenges of creativity and what the outcomes can be. All right, we're going to go a little bit wider. So we're going to do a semi-Duke kaboom. Oh, this just looks painful to me. And I'm going to move his head. Note that I changed his head, right? So when we're doing this, his head's different. He's trying to impress Jesse, right? On your mark, get set, go. This is the I'm trying to impress Jesse. I love in Toy Story 3 when they reset his systems, and he's in Spanish mode, and the dude can dance like nobody's business. That's what this reminds me of. So if you guys get a chance, if you have Disney Plus, because I'm fairly positive it's in their documentaries, watch the Pixar story. It's absolutely fascinating, especially if you love animation. That and Don Hahn did a great documentary on the rebirth from like Ariel to Lion King called Waking Sleeping Beauty. If you haven't seen that yet, that is a phenomenal documentary. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gonna do one more, and then we're gonna get into posing with Daffy. So, dude is straight up.
Oh, we lost Ben. Oh,
Dude, yeah,
oh,
every time I get a phone call in. All right, we're back. All right, now he's saluting. Look at that. He's giving all of you a salute. This is the hello people. And your market set go. So just note posture, right? Where his hand sits, how far his elbow comes out. Same here. I've seen John Lasseter's office when he was at Disney, and it was full of toys, like completely full of toys. Did you ever see his office, Scott?
no, I haven't.
I lost my mind. It was pretty awesome.
Let's see. I see Annabella's hand up.
Yes, dear.
I'm going to go back to yours, though. So
Okay.
Sketch.
Are we supposed to color him?
Not yet. This is more of just kind of getting his sketch down. Like if you've got time, you could probably add some color, but 60 seconds is kind of short to. All right, there we go. Sweet. Well done.
I already finished his sketch.
Sweet. All right, I'm gonna put Sir Lightyear on the ground. All right, so body language, right? How a pose can dictate emotion and what's going on the screen, help with dialogue. If you guys ever get a chance to watch, they're old black and white films, and he's a legend. How many of you have heard of Charlie Chaplin? I would hope more than just one, right? Scott and I have.
Oh, yeah. I love Modern Times.
Right? Yes. Charlie Chaplin is one of the best silent actors of all time and comedians, and the dude was brilliant. So he would do everything that all his comedy was very physically based. So in like that, we're going to get into Daffy Duck and emotions and kind of getting into that physicality of emotions. So let's start in on this with Sir Duck. Now, when we get into some of these poses and some emotions that we're going to kind of call out, this is not just for me to draw in here. I thought, why don't we get up and move a little bit ourselves to feel what it feels like? Animators, when they want to figure out like a scene or something or a reaction, they'll actually have people do it for them, or they'll do it themselves, right? And they'll be like, wait, hold on, could you give me that pose real quick? You know, like, what would you think about this? And then they do it. And that's how they gesture draw that, right? And that's how they translate that to this. I kind of want to make Scott our muse the whole day, but I'm not going to do that to him on the spot because that would be terrible. And then he would never want to do this again. And I love Scott, and I want him to continue doing this for a long time. So let's get into a pose. Here's what I want you to think of, right? So a little crowd activity. If you were super confident about something, like you're pretty confident. Do you think your shoulders here? Let's see. Let's move this back some. Do you think your shoulders are going to be like down? And like, you know, everything's kind of droopy and whatever. No, absolutely not. You're confident, right? Things are, right? I've got my chest up, right? My shoulders are high. It's kind of arching a little bit forward. So you all do that. Do the confident pose, almost like the Superman, where you have hands on. Who would like to display that? Give me a hand. Who would like to display that? Because I just did. So somebody else. Does anybody else want to do it? Nobody's going to do it. They're going to be like, are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. All right, Tater Tot, show me the confident pose. Yes, yes, he's got the Mr. Clean arms going, right? Kind of tilted back a little bit. All right, let's do that with Daffy. Well done, Tater Tot.
And I think Samantha might have had a question.
Yes, Samantha.
Saw her hand up earlier.
Oh, you're on mute, dear.
Did you know that for How to Train Your Dragon, the actors or the people that did it, they actually took a flying class, and they, what's it called when there's air shooting up and so you fly? I forgot what it's called, but it's like that.
Skydiving?
Yeah?
Yeah, skydiving, exactly. They did that, and also I had people pose for me so that I could draw them. I have had that happen.
That's awesome. And I did not know that about How You're Trained Your Dragon. That is absolutely fascinating. I love the fact that actors get into it, even if it's just their voice, right? Because you know that when actors are reading lines, they're filming them so they can see their reactions and translate that into film. All right, so let's get into this. So if I'm in a confident pose, right? I'll do this over here. We'll start with, all I'm going to do is general shapes to start, right? And then we'll get into his bill. So I've got kind of like so. So here's his body, right? But his chest is out, right? So I've got that confident pose. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull my shoulders up into my circle here where I've got his head, right? So I'm showing confidence. Maybe I'll do like a chest line here, right? And then maybe he's looking. We'll get our. There we go.
And
All
Ben,
right.
I'm going to unmute Annabella. I think she had a question.
All right, Annabella.
I already finished the sketch, so could I possibly color him in now?
Yes, you absolutely can. All right. So we've got this, right? Daffy's got this confident stature. His legs are. All right, there we go. We got feet, right? Very confident pose. Very confident pose. And then we've got an arm that goes up, just like Tater Tot's pose. Right? So he's got that confident pose to him. All right, so we're going to take this and that confidence, and we're going to add some features. So let's see if my line is like right here. We'll see how well we do on the fly here with Daffy Duck. All right, so I've got here, I'm going to go eyeballs. Now, remember when we did the emoji thing and with expressions on Tuesday, we just kind of put eyes in where we knew they would be. But that didn't mean the whole thing was going to be an eye, and so we're going to give him some. He's just kind of got that half closed lid look to him. I'm going to bring this in a little bit more. All right, and then we got some beak action. Let's get his beak in there. Right. I might have made his head too small. Let's see. It's my Daffy Duck on the fly. This could be one of my 100,000 super bad drawings. All right, so it's a little sloppy. But, all right, so got his head going in. And then we've got his shoulders, they're up. He's very confident. It's a very confident pose. So if you notice, when someone's got their hands and they're crossed like so. One goes, if you take a look at it, like in tater tots pose, right? You got one over the other. So as you have your elbows up, watch how one arm goes over and another arm goes under. So his hand, right? Got his tail in there. This is where his legs are. And then we'll get his feet. So in my version, his head's a little small. His head should be like 20% bigger than what it is. But you can get an idea of that super confident pose, right? See, why couldn't my mom taken the class today, Scott, when my iPad's charged and I remembered it? All right.
But not
So,
left in airplane mode.
But not, yeah. Oh, yes. All right. So we've got kind of so that's kind of like a confident Daffy, right? It's pretty confident in his abilities on whatever it is that he's trying to accomplish. Now let's get into kind of a perturbed Daffy Duck.
I see Sophia's hand up.
Yes, Sophia.
So here's Daffy Duck.
Nice. Your Daffy's coming out better than my Daffy. I like it. Good pose. Good confident pose.
I'll show one
All
next
right.
side.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go into like the typical Daffy Duck pose where he's not thrilled, right? He's been trying to best Bugs Bunny his entire career and it just doesn't work. So if he's super angry, right, maybe his head's down a little bit, shoulders are way up. So we're going to start with the tail circle, okay? And his eye line is going to be a little bit lower because he's kind of tilting his head down some. And then I'm going to put shoulders. I'm going to do little circles for where his shoulders are, just so I can kind of tell. So as you can see, they're up there. Like that's his. If this is his head and this is his wires, his shoulders are up, kind of above his head a bit. Now he's got his arms kind of coming down. So I'm gonna do little circles here, where I'm gonna have his arm. These are like where his hands are gonna go, right? So I'm just kind of getting an idea of where things are, and then I'm gonna do another circle that's kind of attached to that one, like so. That's where his tail is. All right, and then from there, I'm gonna get his legs down here. He's gonna be on like his tippy toes. All right, so that's the start. It doesn't really look like a duck yet, but that's okay. All right, so I've got where he's looking, so he's looking a little bit off center. All right, and I'm gonna start with my eyes down here. Scott, if this is too light, let me know.
It's a little light, but I can see it.
Okay, I might pull this in a little bit.
Does anyone have a problem seeing it?
Yeah, can anybody not see it?
I can see it clearly.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, so we got some eyes in there, right? Super perturbed duck. Then I'm gonna put his eyebrows up at the top. And then his hair. All right. So that's where I'm gonna start with Daffy's head, right? Now to get his bill in there, we're gonna go from his bill to his shoulders and then start to bring out the rest of his body. So his bill's going to come up from underneath. There we go. So we got the side of his bill that comes out there. That's the side of his bill that comes out here. And then he's got like a little line. All right, so that's where the bill is going to come on the left side. On the right side, and another little perturbed line here. I'm going to bring this down.
Tater Tot's asking why you like to draw grumpy people, but he didn't mean that as criticism, just curious.
So I find that some of the funniest poses are when you're grumpy, right? Because people are just caught up in emotion on things and they don't really realize what their body language is. And I think it's hilarious. And some of the cartoon characters have some of the funniest poses. Like I can tell you my 2-year-old, when he gets grumpy, I have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 16-year-old. And my 2-year-old, when he throws a fit, just lays down on the ground and doesn't do anything. It's probably the easiest tantrum anybody's ever had. All right, so I've got his beak coming up here, right? This comes down here, and then I'm going to add the front part of it like so. And then we'll just finish off the, all right. We'll do the same thing here. All right, so there's Daffy's head. That's a better Daffy. That's a terrible Daffy on my part. It's terrible. This is okay. All right, so we're going to get into shoulders. So we have his shoulders up here, right? And he's kind of got that head down kind of pose. So we have our circles. So on where we have our circles, I'm just going to put like kind of some fur lines, right? And I'm going to extend his arms. Well, actually, I probably put these circles a little too close. All right, so there's his hands. He's got his fist going. So his arms stretch all the way up with a classic cartoon fist. Man, is he upset. All right. So we got our hands in there. And then he is arching back big time. So I've got essentially his back like so. And then the front part of his chest. All right, so he is really leaning forward. All right, so I got his tail. And then we're gonna, where his feet, his legs come out, he's got like little, kind of drops in like there. So he is super leaning forward. You can see his head's even bigger than the rest of his body in perspective, just like the foot on Buzz Lightyear. Okay, now I'm gonna bring his legs down. And remember, he's on his tippy toes. And we just kind of show that like so. There's one perturbed duck. So you can see as you gesture characters, right, or you draw real people and you see maybe emotions and attitudes and stuff from people, you can translate that into your own drawings from your own characters in whatever mood or story you're trying to tell. All right, everybody got that? We'll give it like another 30 seconds. And then we're going to go to another classic Daffy Duck pose, which is the I have something to say. I'm excited about it. Maybe excited, angry, maybe just excited, excited. And it's that one finger point where his body is fully stretched out. All right, so we're gonna go from this. I'm gonna flip my page. All right, new pose. Here we go. All right, so Daffy Duck has this excitedness about him, right? And if you've ever seen films like Duck Amuck, or you know, any of the fire rabbit seasoning, stuff like that, he'll have moments where he's gonna make his point. And when he makes his point, right, to Bugs or whoever it is, he's got this extended posture to him with one finger in the air. So this will be, we're gonna start with circle. Now remember how we got exaggerated with our features? And once you kind of learn some of the basics, you can bend and break the rules. So we're going to do this. He's looking off in this direction. Now for this one on Daffy, I might put one shoulder here, and there might be a shoulder like in the back. I'm just going to do it super light because it's going to be behind him. So let's start in on his face, and then we'll start to get the pose down. But what I want to do is I want to have a line coming down like so. So he's kind of like lurching forward a bit. And then I'm going to have a little circle like right about there. And that's where his hand is going to stretch. All right, so I've got my eye line, right? So the last one had Daffy's eyes going like this, right? And that kind of anger. This one's going to have Daffy's eyeballs going like so in this. Come on. All right, and then you'll notice on the other side, his eye is smaller. All right, so it's not the same size because we're looking off in one direction. Put it just where his bill is. He's kind of looking this way. Daffy Duck's got that kind of triangular shaped head. So we're going to put in some eyebrows. All right, and then we're going to get started on his bill. His bill comes underneath his eyeball and over to the side. And I'm going to leave that right there for a second. And then on this side, so he's going to have just a little bit, just that little hook. So got a smile line up here, right, for the side of his mouth. This one has a little bit more of an exaggerated beak. Because his mouth is going to be wide open. So like so. And we'll bring the top of his bill around again. And I'll just connect that. All right, now Daffy's mouth is going to drop, so he's got it open. He's yelling. There's his tongue. All right. Now where we had our shoulder, I'm going to bring this hand down here and put kind of a, so about equal distance from his shoulder to the bill to his hand. And this is going to be the elbow is about right there. So now you can draw on the rest of his arm. Like so. All right. Now we got that line that kind of tells us the angle of his body. So I'm going to bring that line down here. And then his chest kind of. We've got his legs. So it's kind of where his legs are, like right there. Put his tail behind him. All right, so he's got that stretched out pose. And his legs. And we're gonna have his hand come up on the other side. So I'm gonna connect his arm. There's his thumb. There's his finger. And he is making a point very adamantly. All right, this is the kind of indignant pose. He's excited about it. He's got a point to make. It's exaggerated. All right. So that's kind of the rundown of Daffy, right? In those poses. Now here's what we're going to do to finish off. My Daffys today have not been super great, but that's okay. I want, as we're going to figure a pose out together. So we're going to take a quick poll. And we're going to use Daffy. So we're going to draw Daffy in whatever this, excuse me, whatever this emotion is, right? So why don't you guys throw out some, we did kind of like a sort of excited, could do Daffy's the Rock. All right. What if Daffy as the Rock, like what would the emotion be? Yes, we do have to. You're right. We should end with Daffy as the Rock. Now, Daffy's the Rock, like is it a arms crossed kind of, you know, like attitude pose? Is it flexing? So is he showing off flexing? Like is it a very proud emotion? Like he's very proud, like look at this.
Tater Tot says kind of smug.
Smug. I like that. Demure. Someone said demure. Look at that. That's a $5 word for today. All right. Smug with proud arms. All right. So if he's smug with proud arms, is he flexing? So we did kind of an arms cross. What if in that smug pose, right? It was one arm up, right? He's just looking at you like one arm up, chest is out, right? He's got that pose of like, what are you gonna do? I'm the rock duck. I'm the duck rock. Whatever. All right. So I think we're gonna roll with that. I want everybody to do their interpretation of this, right? I am the duck rock. Yes. Everybody do your interpretation of Daffy Duck in the one arm kind of Schwarzenegger, right, pump pose where he's flexing his bicep. Maybe one arm is on his hip, you know, in that classic pose. And we're going to do that pose. So it's kind of the Mr. like, what was it? Mr. Olympian? No, what did Schwarzenegger get?
I think so.
I think it was Mr. Olympian. I think it's the Mr. Olympian pose, right? So let's do the Mr. Olympian pose. One arm at his side. Like I'm gonna use where's my Buzz Lightyear? So like if he's got one arm pumped, right? And then he's got one arm at his side like so, right? That's the Mr. All right, that's the Mr. Universe or Mr. Olympian, whichever one it is, pose for Daffy Duck doing his best. I've been totally juicing and I'm huge. The Rock Duck. All right, everybody go. We got 10 minutes to do this pose. So go ahead and do your Daffy Duck in his Mr. Olympian arm. Smug is the emotion, right? He's smug. And that smug pose. Oh man, I could totally blow this one. So let's see how we do. And then we will show how this looks. And everybody can share their poses. So remember, starting with kind of basic shapes gives you an idea of where joints and stuff are. So I'm going to do his. Do this here. I'll have maybe his. Let's see. I'll bring his shoulders up this way. All right, so I've got his chest up. I've got his tail down here. So I'm just starting with basic shapes, and then I'm going to build into that. Okay. Maybe he's looking at like Daffy Duck, like, what are you going to do about this? One of my all-time, who has an all-time favorite Daffy Duck film? He can be with another character in it. I love his Bugs Bunny, like Rabbit Fire films. Okay.
Robin Hood Daffy.
Robin Hood Daffy is a favorite. I love the yoinks and away, and then he just keeps hitting trees.
Another Rabbit Fire.
Rabbit Fire is an all-time favorite.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Maybe he, oh, I got one eyebrow up, right? Just like The Rock. Boys.
Samantha says Duck Dodgers.
Duck Dodgers, yes. So we have so next week, I'll talk about this while we're drawing our Daffy Ducks and our poses. Next week on Friday, instead of doing classes, I believe from 11 to 1 Pacific time, so that's 1 to 3 o'clock Central time, my time here, we are going to do the Chuck Jones virtual big draw. And the Chuck Jones virtual big draw is going to have at least five different activities that you guys will be able to jump in on 5 different Zoom rooms for 2 hours. I'm going to do cartoon set building for 2 hours and build and like kind of like build off what we did a couple of weeks back, which I'm kind of jonesing to get into. And we've got some other activities, like we've got drawing, we've got Acme Inventions, where you can build stuff with things that you find around the house, to try and like catch the Roadrunner. So that is next Friday. More details will be up this weekend so that you guys can check that out. But it should be a lot of fun. Daffy Duck in the smug pose. Hey, buddy. You want your ice cream? Dude, you ate your ice cream. We'll find something for you. Are you wearing a Looney Tunes shirt?
No.
No. I don't know. I kind of think you are. All right. So Daffy Duck in his, and also, and I can't show this, but I want to show it. We have Red Dot 10 next week also, and Red Dot 10 is a charity auction for the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity, which is the stuff that you guys are, classes that you guys are doing with us. And they have all kinds of artwork from all kinds of artists all over the country, which is super cool. And it's all the money raised goes to the Chuck Jones Center, but they have some super awesome pieces of artwork, and one of mine's in there. And if I showed it today, Robert would kill me. Because Scott would be like, dude, Ben threw me under the bus last week. I'm going to throw him under the bus. He just showed his Red Dot piece.
You're right about that.
Right? See? I'm going to give the dude some serious. Man, Daffy's been. Did you take the helmet off? Drop a shoulder. Okay, I'll put his helmet back on. There you go. Okay, you can do that too. Mm-hmm. You know, in the cartoons where he goes to flex his muscle and it just drops like a U, which is hilarious. All right, dude's got a six-pack. He's got a ginormous bicep. It's even bigger than this bicep. How's that possible? I don't know. But he apparently just lifts all with one arm. So when I'm referencing stuff, right, I'll use my own hands. So if I'm trying to figure out like, how does that look? And then I'll look at this and I'll be like, oh, that's how it's supposed to look, right? So use your own. Because I'll be like, is the thumb? Nope, thumb's in the back. It's huge. Maybe we got some veins. There's lots of tattoos. I'll have to make this bicep even bigger. He has insanely large biceps. All right, we're gonna give this like 2 more minutes. And we'll kind of go around the room. All right. He's got that confident stance. I don't know, where is this helmet, dude? All right, so you can kind of see all my lines all over the place. All right, there's my juiced up. I'm gonna put some shorts on him because it feels like he should actually. I'm gonna put the WWE belt. He's wearing the WWE belt. He's got the shorts. I don't know what the symbol looks like, so we're just gonna put some squigglies in there. Not yet, buddy. There's his giant WWE belt. All right, we'll give it one more minute here, and then we'll go around the table. I kind of feel like he should have giant rocks in the background. Yeah, buddy. The rock duck. All right, there we go. That's my wildly ridiculous interpretation of this concept. You got to be quiet, dude. Daddy's on TV right now. Okay, so there's mine in all its ridiculousness and absurdity. Now let's go around the table and see what you guys did. So if you're ready, put up your digital hand. This is the rock duck in first. Yeah. All right, Tater Tot. Hold on, move it a little. Yes. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I love it.
Not totally sure if I regret this.
You know what? Hey, no regrets on this one, man. That's hilarious. Good job. I love the interpretation.
Thank you.
Way to kick it off, man. All right, guys, let's see your interpretations.
Liliana and Heather Rose?
Of the rock duck. Sweet. Yes. Tattoos, muscles, the whole deal. Nicely done. Love it. Love the pose. That is definitely a smug pose. Very cool. Nice job, ladies. Samantha.
He's trying to be strong, but he accidentally turns out wimpy.
I love the fact that he's still smug about it. Like, look at this. And they're like, look at what? That's awesome. Well done, Samantha.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's Sophie.
All right, Sophie.
Okay, I haven't finished. I drew his foot wrong, but
That's okay. That's awesome. I love the arched pose to it also, like building up to it. That is a smug duck right there. Well done, Sophie. All right, where are we to next?
This is Annabella's.
Annabella. Nice job, man. You've got a muscular duck in there. Love the rocks in the background too and the tattoos. And he's got his WWE belt on. Sweet. Well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to go
and
too, buddy?
My brother would like to show you.
Absolutely. Nice. That is awesome. Look at the size of those biceps. Very cool. Good job, buddy.
thanks.
Well done. You're welcome.
Here's Isaac.
Hey, Isaac.
Okay.
Dude, that is a muscular duck. Look at that guy. He's just staring right at you. He's like, what are you going to do? Look at the size of my muscles. I love it, man. Well done. He's got muscular legs, too. I didn't even do that. I didn't think of that one. Muscular legs. Nice job, Isaac.
Okay.
Well done, sir. All right, where are we to next, Scott? Who else would like to show their rock duck?
Anyone else?
And if not, that's okay. All right, I'll tell you what.
Oh, Soren.
Soren. Is it Soren?
Soren.
All right, buddy.
Well, I made my rock duck's hands really big to show how much muscle he has in them.
Yes. Look at the size of those. Who said
And
you could
I
eat my
think
cookies?
he has a one.
How many muscles?
That's a 12-pack.
That is a 12-pack. $3.99 right there at Walmart. 12-pack. Nice job on the duck. Get in the chopper. Very nice.
Next
Love
up
it,
is
dude.
Amelia.
Amelia. Whoa, dude, and you got color in there and everything. Look at that. That is one smug, muscular duck. I love the tattoos. And the shirt. He's got a tank top on. Nice job, man. That looks awesome. You're welcome. I almost think that we should like start in on Arnold Schwarzenegger also, because that could just be joy for days. I got a whole bunch of lines I could recite from that. All right. So you guys did an awesome job. Thank you so much for participating. Next week, so there's 2 more classes tomorrow. Lee has got a class at 10 a.m. Pacific, and Rhiannon is on at noon Pacific. So this same time slot, but Rhiannon's on. And then next week, we have classes Monday through Thursday, right? So we'll do our normal times. I'll be on Tuesday and Thursday. And then I think we're going to do a game of art tag on Thursday, because that went over really well and everybody seemed to love it. And I would like to get back into art tag and do one. So we're going to do art tag on Thursday. Tuesday, I think we might get into inking, right? Like how to ink characters. And you're going to have some downloads that I will have available on the site. They'll be done very lightly. And then we're going to ink over those. So if you have like a marker or a pen or a brush pen or something like that, we're going to do that on Tuesday and get into like inking characters. I'm going to show you some Chuck Jones pieces that I have, some originals, and I love his inking style. So it's going to be all about inking, and then we'll get into art tag, and then we'll do the Chuck Jones virtual big draw on Friday, where you can participate in one of 5 or 6 Zoom rooms and pop into a different one and try something out if you want, and do this whole creativity extravaganza thing. So you guys have been awesome as usual. Should we post? All right, everybody just hold up your rock duck, because I keep posting to this dude, and we might as well do it. Let's see the rock ducks. And then Scott, you let us know when we're good to go.
Okay, just waiting for a few more.
We'll do one big screenshot.
Let's see, is Nicole?
All right, hold them up there. Hold them up there.
Does Nicole have a drawing she wants to share?
I don't know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
And
then,
Samantha had her hand up. I want to spotlight Samantha before we go.
Samantha.
I just wanted to say that I added a 12-pack. You got a 12-pack.
That's awesome. Yes, because the 6-pack isn't good enough. We go for the doubles. Well done,
Exactly.
man. Love it, Samantha. We'll tell you what, guys, starting next week, too, we're going to post up classes that we've done before. So you'll be able to go into the weeks and then see other classes if you wanted to redraw or redo some stuff, and you'll be able to watch those again. And that'll start popping up on the site in the week that it was in as we go next week. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday afternoon. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for coming out and drawing today, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one, everybody.